Sir, all set, sir. Should we start, sir?
From my side, it's okay. You check up with the director and the chief guest.
Ji, sir.
Ask Manjusha to start.
Okay. Dr. Manjusha. All set now. Let's start.
So, with the permission of the chair, we'd like to begin the proceedings then. 46वें स्थापना दिवस समारोह पर आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। आप सबको हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं और मैं बिना किसी देरी से हमारे निदेशक महोदय से अनुरोध करूंगी कि वे सभी लोगों का स्वागत करें और इस अवसर पर अपनी शुभकामनाएं सबको दें।
Thank you, Dr. Manjusha. With the permission of the chair and with the permission of the all our senior, junior, I would like to welcome our chief guest, Awesome, sir. This morning.
जैसा कि आप सभी लोग देख सकते हैं,
बहुत अच्छा।
डॉक्टर अशोक कुमार, निदेशक NVPGR, डॉक्टर वासल हमारे आज के मुख्य अतिथि का अभिनंदन कर रहे हैं।
So, good morning. On behalf of NVPGR and my own behalf, मैं आप सभी को 46वें NVPGR के 46वें स्थापना दिवस समारोह की शुभकामनाएं देता हूं और बधाई देता हूं कि आप इस अवसर को मिले। और इसके साथ ही I would like to welcome, first of all, I would like to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Basal sir. I think everybody is aware that he is a renowned scientist and wonderful laureate. So I am quite lucky to be here as a chief guest. And I also welcome our guest speaker, Gautam sir, because he is the person who has initiated and started this program of the organization of the foundation at NVPGR 25 years today. So we can say that we have chosen the right person to be here to see the journey of the NVPGR, because he is well versed with the activities of the NVPGR and he has worked in so many places. Regarding the journey of NVPGR, Dr. Gautam will cover in his lecture, but for the information of the junior colleagues, I would like to say that the NVPGR was established on 1st of August 1976 with the objective to collect, conserve, characterize the germ plant for the food and nutrition security. At present, NVPGR is functioning with the network of 10 regional stations. These 10 regional stations are mini NVPGR in their respective zone because they are involved in the collection, characterization, and even for the conservation of the plant genetic resources at that particular niche, particular area, and the particular zone. And NVPGR also is collaborating with the selective gene plant sites for the maintenance and PGR management of the activity in 37 different institutes or appropriate institutes or the SAUs. And not only this, because I have also covered around 3.5 decades in the NVPGR. When I joined NVPGR, the first and foremost activity was the NVPGR was the collection and the characterization, conservation. So in first decade, we are establishing the gene bank, and that time we are very much worried to conserve our material. In the second phase, when the NATP has come, the PG school has been started, and the education has been started, and the registration mechanism was started. That time, the most trust was given through collection, characterization, and conservation, and also for the teaching and education. In the third phase of the NVPGR, we can say that the last decade. Now, earlier we are fully involved for the service of the nation, through management of the PGR. Now we are 50% in the research and 50% of the service. So now the trust is for the utilization of the gene, because now we have conserved around 4.73 lakh excisions of different agri-horticultural crops belonging to around 2,000 species. So now our thrust is for the large scale characterization, the evaluation, and the utilization of the gene, because without utilization, the conservation has no means. So now we have started the large scale. In the last decade, we started the large scale characterization of wheat, chickpea, and the beginner group, then rice, then minor pulses, then also the oilseeds, and I am very happy to share around 50, more than 50%, around 60% accessions have been characterized, and more than 15 crops have been developed for the management of the gene plant, and different sets and different kinds of sets for the utilization of the gene plant. So in nutshell, so now I would like to tell some of the salient features of the last year of our achievement. Sir, and you are kindly aware, we are involved in the collection, characterization, evaluation, and conservation of the genetic resources. So during the last year, when I say the last year, is 1st August 2021 to the 31st July of this 2022. So the 35 exposures have been taken in different difficult areas of NEH region and the Uttarakhand and the hilly area, in which we have collected around 2,200 accessions belonging to different crops. Out of some, this time we have given more emphasis on the collection of the crop wild relatives, because wild relatives are the treasure house of many genes or the many biotic evaluations and the quality parameters. Sir, during this period, we have identified one new species that is Allium meningium from India, which was first time morphologically confirmed. So this is our the species was confirmed by the Botanical Survey of India. So we have added one new species in our collections during the last year. Other than this, we have also collected the germplasm of undertype fruits like Chironji, that is called Bacnania, some temperate fruits, prunus, rubus, sorbus, and some of the wild relatives of Allium, Abelmoster, because most of the crops are of indigenous in nature. So we have collected the wild species of not only wild species, the rare and endangered threatened species of most of the plants. Then we come to the herbarium. We have added 700 herbarium specimens to our national herbarium. So this national herbarium crop plant is the unique identity of the NVPGR, because only the NVPGR is having the national herbarium for the cultivated plant, in which we are having the unique germplasm of cultivated species and also the crop varieties. When we come to the exchange is one of the important activities that was stated the Bayback and the introduction division. So So during the last year, we have imported 43,000 accessions of different crops and 17,000. You can say the entry in the form of nursery. When we come to the export, so through because we are exporting germ plant only for the collaborative research. So we have provided 43 accessions of temperate fruits to the Uzbekistan and 350 accessions of wheat to Bolivia and Bangladesh under collaborative evaluation program. Other than this, in the national supply, in the seed supply, we have supplied 13,000 accessions of different crop plants to our national partners of utilization in their breeding program. When we come to the unique accessions that have been imported, so we imported the Niger from Ethiopia, similarly dragon fruit from Thailand, and barley from USA, and the wheat, cotton, tomato from Australia, Taiwan, and some other countries. When it comes to the quarantine, we are the only institute in the country that are involved for the quarantine of the research material through Nvpgr. So during the last year, we have quarantined the material of 1.3 lakhs, and out of these 2,000 accessions were found infected and infested of different pest pathogens that have been salvaged and provided to the end user. And when we come to the germplasm characterization, as I told, because this at present time we are giving more and more thrust on the characterization, evaluation of the germplasm. So during the last year, around 18,000 accessions of different agri-horticulture crops were characterized, evaluated, regenerated through Nvpgr. And out of this, the core set of five crops, the rice bean, moong bean, cowpea, and this linseed barley have been developed. When we come to the germplasm, the identification of the terrestrial germplasm, so we have identified so many accessions of promising germplasm, but we could register 2 accessions of lentil for gold seededness and 7 wheat accessions for rust, biotic and abiotic accessions. So around 10 accessions have been registered through PGRC of the ICAR, and that have been provided to the breeders for the utilization. Then we come to the conservation activity. Conservation is one of the important activity. At present, we are having 4,62,000 accessions in seed gene bank, and around 10,000 accessions have been added during the last year. Similarly, in cryo and in vitro conservation, we are not lagging behind. We have added 338 accessions of different crop plants belonging to Allium sativum, chlorophytum. These are some of the rare endangered plants, and they are sexually propagated. Then regarding, sir, we have given one another responsibility of the DNA fingerprinting of the variety before release. So during the last year, around 106 the samples of different variety that to be released from the CVRC system have been submitted for DNA fingerprinting. So the DNA fingerprinting has been done of all the varieties, and through this mechanism we have generated the soil generation of around 9 lakh from this activity. Similarly, GM testing, we have also given responsibility of the GM testing. GM testing has been provided to public and private sector, and 130 samples have been tested for GM testing. And so this activity, we have generated the resource generation of 7 lakh. Similarly, we have developed the 64K SNP chip in Dehanamuran, And so with the DGR, the development of genomic resources, we have developed the genomic resources in different crops and different germ projects. Regarding sir, new facility, sir, during the last year, we have upgraded the National Gene Bank, which was dedicated with our Honorable Agriculture Minister, Sri Narendra Singh Tomar ji, accompanied with Sri Kailash Chaudhary ji, on last 16th August of the last year, and they have inaugurated our refurbished gene bank with the new ultra-modern facility of the gene bank. And the one greenhouse facility was also inaugurated and was added to the Nvpgr administration at Jodhpur. Similarly, one net house facility was added at headquarters for the tissue culture material. Sir, regarding this, we have arranged the visit of our Director General, the former Director General, Dr. Mahapatra, at Nvpgr on 16 August for the inauguration of the gene bank. And we have also arranged the visit of our respected Director General at Isapur Farm. In Isapur Farm, we have developed a field gene bank of the underprivileged groups that was inaugurated by our honorable the former Director General Dr. Mahapatra in the February of this year, February 2022. Regarding the recognition, our colleague Dr. Sunita Chak has been identified an informal consultant for enhancement of the functioning multi system as a consultant in the treaty organized by the digital DSI, organized by the FAO. Similarly, our colleague Dr. Pratibha Brahmi had attended the meeting ad hoc committee on conservation of the PGRFA and preparation of the GB9. When we come to the other activity, the PGR policy planning unit has provided input to the different policy makers like Biodiversity Act, Biodiversity and ABS guidelines 2014. Sir, regarding the administration, finance, sir, we have conducted a DPC of the 36 scientists that have been promoted to the next high grade, and new appointment to 2 scientists have been transferred from Nvpgr, 1 scientist has been added to the Nvpgr. The 4 scientists from Nvpgr have been retired during the last year. So with this nutshell, but we have shown the achievement of the last year. But really, some of the we are in the process, because last year the CGS facility of the pensioners have been dropped by the CGHS. So we are in the process to restore the facility. Our concerned administrative officers are in continuous touch with the ICR and the CGHS and the ministry to how we can help to our the retired employees. So with this, I am again welcome. I can see many of the directors, vice chancellors of different institutes, universities have joined. So on behalf of Nvpgr, I again welcome to all of you, and because you are here to celebrate Nvpgr celebration, it shows your attachment with the Nvpgr management activity. With this, I am thankful and welcome all of you again. Thank you, sir. With this, I hand over to Dr. Manju Saab.
सर धन्यवाद। सर हम आज बहुत सौभाग्यशाली हैं कि हमारे साथ डॉक्टर PL गौतम, फॉर्मर चेयरमैन PPVFRA एंड NBA, फॉर्मर वाइस चांसलर GB पंत एग्रीकल्चर यूनिवर्सिटी हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं, और हमें आज का 9वां डॉक्टर हरभजन सिंह मेमोरियल लेक्चर प्रस्तुत करेंगे। सॉरी सर, डॉक्टर PL गौतम प्लीज।
Okay. Can I get my slides, Archak?
Yes, sir. They are there now.
Yes, I can now start my presentation.
Please, sir. Please.
The chief guest of today's function, Dr. S.K. Vasil, Director of Nvpgr, Dr. Ashok Kumar, the distinguished persons from agriculture universities, ICR system, Nvpgr family, and more prominently, I saw Dr. S.K. Sharma, the former director of the institute, and many others. And I, first of all, extend my warm welcome to you all on this very auspicious day of the Institute. I am really very grateful to the organizers to give me this opportunity to share with you my association and my some contribution and the contribution of the NBPGR to the general people at this moment. Before I do that, I must say I feel highly honored to deliver 9th Harbhajan Singh Memorial Lecture on this Foundation Day of NBPGR during the commemoration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations of the country. Well, friends, I was one of the fortunate and privileged person like Dr. S.K. Sharma to be the PG student of Padma Shri Harbhajan Singh Ji during 1968 to 70. And I had also the opportunity to study one course from him. He was a very simple, dedicated, honest, respected, and docile person. He was a modest teacher and orator. His work speaks for his laudable services to the nation. He has served the plant genetic resource related activities for nearly 28 years till his death. Today I see a rare coincidence. This session is being chaired by one of my another best teachers, Dr. S.K. Vasil. Let me reveal that his wonderful teaching skill and helping attitude to the students attracted many students like us to take genetics as elective at the BSc Agriculture level. And that was during 1966-67. I'm so grateful to him to agree to preside over this very important function of the NBPGR. I would also like to share with you that when I joined NBPGR in May 1997, I had a habit of conducting monthly meetings of the institute, where all scientists have to share what they have done, what they plan to do, what are the difficulties, and so on. In one of the meetings, I just asked from the people present in the house, the present H.B. Singh lecture, the seminar room, that when was the NBPGR founded? I wanted to have the exact date of its foundation. It was hard time that after a lot of discussions and searching of literature, we could find that it was August the 1st, 1976, when the National Bureau of Plant Introduction, which was later on named as Nvpgr, came into existence. And I feel happy that we had the first formal Foundation Day celebration done on August the 1st, 1977. And I'm today very happy to be present in the 25th festivity of that kind. I feel very satisfied that the team Nvpgr is continuing this heritage with the great sincerity. Last month, Dr. Ashok called me in connection with participation in a training program organized on quarantine-related activities by Dr. Gurinder Randhawa. And he hesitantly invited me to deliver the Foundation Day lecture. We had also discussed about who will be the person to preside over this event. And on my suggestion, he agreed to approach Dr. Vassal, and he did oblige us, and that's why he's present today. Acknowledging the modesty and simplicity of Ashok, I gladly accepted the invite. He gave me a list of very high-sounding topics for my lecture. However, considering the heterogeneity of the audience, I told him that I'll speak on some topic which will be of relevance to all those people who are connected in this program. And that's why I suggested him that I'll speak on NBPGR then and now. Tab or ab. He was so grateful. He was so happy. He was so kind to really accept my proposal. And I do feel that we don't know ourselves. We don't know our institutes very well. We take it for granted. And that is why such days give you time for introspection. And that is why I am speaking on a very simple topic with the hope that I'll be in a position to reach the students, the staff, and all other people of the National Agriculture Research System with the far more clarity about the role and the work of the institute. Well, as I said, that we know less about ourselves makes us to know. And when I was just seeing the introduction being made by Manju Verma, she mentioned about my other designations. And knowing that it is well known, she did not mention that I was also director of Nvpgr. Now that is where, that is the familiarity which makes people not to speak a very familiar thing, but that was an inning which I enjoyed the most during my service career. And I feel happy to be associated with this institute. Now, if you are all set, then I can go ahead with my presentation with the permission of the chair. Archak, can you help me?
Sir, it is in the second slide now. Are you able to see the second slide, sir?
It's not coming. Can you?
For example, it is the first slide and the second slide now.
Okay. Now how to get the full? It's not coming in the entire screen.
Okay.
Something to be done?
Sir, on the what you are seeing, sir, all these photographs of the participants.
No photographs. I am seeing second slide of my presentation, that too in a micro size.
Oh, that is because of the bandwidth, sir. Now it is third slide, sir. It has come third slide, sir.
Okay, yes, this goes to third slide.
But it is small size.
Go to the second slide.
Yeah.
I'll take care of it. Okay. You can't help me. Okay.
Sir, Dr. Archak, can you please unpin Dr. Gautam, sir, please?
Okay. Now, is it better, sir? Not yet.
No, not at all. But anyway,
I think
I'll continue. Let's not be disturbed by it. Okay.
Sure.
Well, friends, you may be knowing very well about how when the NVPGR was established and so on. But I have tried to trace the evolutionary path of this institute in this slide. In fact, the PGR related activities got impetus with the establishment of IRI in its division, botany division, right from 1905. In 1937, a very popular paper was published by Dr. Paul, known as Search for New Genes, and it was published in Agriculture and Livestock. And this ignited the mind of many scientists to move towards having a system for the genetic resource search and management. In this continuity, in 1946, a small plant introduction section, service or scheme, you can say, under ICAR, was started in the botany division of IRI, which is now genetics division. In 1956, it was elevated as Plant Introduction and Exploration Organization under IRI. And in 1963, it became Plant Introduction as an independent division of IRI. In 1976, the division of plant introduction of IRI was elevated as ICR Institute on National Bureau of Plant Introduction. Considering the limited coverage under the subject, the institute was renamed in 1977 as National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources. I think that is how the present NVPGR has evolved. At present, as you know, it has its headquarters in Delhi with the farm at Isapur and 10 regional stations or base centers scattered throughout the length and breadth of the country. Next. These are the centers of the institute, which are located at different places. And one of the first station established under the NVPGR, and that rather in the prior form of NVPGR, was at Shimla, established in 1960. And the subsequent years for all the stations are given here. It indicates that at least 3-4 centers were established under NVPGR prior to its upgradation as an independent institution. Next. Now, this slide shows the Indian National Plant Genetic Resource System, which has evolved over times. And this includes the NBPGR and its regional or base centers, and national active germplasm sites located in the crop-based institutes of horticulture and crop sciences divisions of ICAR, and also the state agriculture universities. Now, this is the family which has now expanded to a very large extent to cover different gamuts of the activities of plant genetic resources in the country. Next. Initially, the genetic resource activity was confined to collection, classification, inheritance studies of land races, and so on. And that work was started in Imperial Agriculture Research Institute by Harvard and Harvard. You might have read about them, who have done a lot of work in wheat. And subsequently, this work was extended to many crops, including sugarcane, jute, cotton, rice, and so on. However, the systematic work was started with the establishment of a separate OFA unit or scheme in the botany division of IRI. And this work was started under the able leadership of Shri Harbhajan Singh. Well, at that time, the plant genetic resources were regarded as common heritage of humankind, and hence many international joint explorations and collections were undertaken. Shri Harbhajan Singh and his team has accompanied many decorated scientists for collections in different parts of country. And subsequently, with the launching of All India Crop Research, All India Coordinated Research Programs since 1957, and coming up of state agriculture universities from 1960 onward, and establishment of the regional stations or base centers of the Nvpgr, the PGR activities in the country got a good boost. Next. Next. Just to share with you that before NVPGR came to existence, a lot of indigenous collections were made, and a lot of material was collected under joint international programs. Over 100 varieties were released in fodders, fruits, vegetables, cereals, etc., from the germplasm introduced or from the collected materials. And one of the noted varieties, what we call as a Pusa Savani Bhindi, was also developed by late Shri Harbhajan Singh, which is very important from all angles, that which also led to the production of seed by private sector. The MECO has promoted the spread of that variety in the country. Then introduction of new crops and potential germplasm of plants. I will come to it later on also, but there were some crops like sugarcane and sugar beet, soybean, sunflower, and kiwi. They were not common crops in the country, and with the introduction of improved types, these have become now crops in the country. And the potential germplasm of wheat, rice, soybean, millets, all important crops, vegetables, a whole series of crop was introduced, which has helped the breeders in improving the varieties and giving it on to the farmers. Next. I must say that the joint international projects have also contributed tremendously for gearing up our activities in germplasm collecting and exploration. Some of the notable initiatives were under FAO and IPGRI programs, USAID sponsored collections, PL480 projects for different crops, JICA project for collecting minor millets and sesame, wildlife collections in collaboration with IRI, Indo-Soviet collections in cotton, wheat, okra, sesame, etc., and Australian project on collecting grasses and legumes. And this has happened, and they are known as a pre-CVD collections. And this was really one of the great initiatives at that time. And that has been, I will indicate to you that how much important these collections were at that time. Next. With this little background, it will be better to really look into what important contributions the NBPGR or previous plant introduction division have made in this area. Next. If we take the general contributions, the NBPGR has evolved and is leading what we call Indian National Plant Genetic Resource System Management Program in the country, which is one of the largest program in itself. As I said earlier, that it has helped in introducing germplasm of new crops, and crops like soybean, sunflower, sugar beet, kiwi, guar, rose geranium, jojoba, oil palm, etc., have been established in the country. Introduction of germplasm of Mexican wheats, maize, IRI varieties, sorghum, peanuts, European vegetables and fruits, etc., has paid rich dividends to our crop improvement program. The Institute has also relieved, as I mentioned earlier, varieties from the germplasm tested, and particularly in the orphan crops, or what you call now the potential crops. It was to highlight that the role of NBPGR as a partner in ushering green revolution and subsequent revolution in crop husbandry and fruits, etc. It has a role, and it has played its role very, very effectively. Next. The Institute facilitated access to genetic resources to the breeders to elaborate exchange and quarantine system, and saved country from introduction of destructive insect pests along with the genetic resources. Has collected and conserved local plant genetic resources following the advent of monoculture and the natural calamities. And the leadership role has been played in PGR augmentation, which includes collecting and introduction of need-based genetic resources using accepted standard operating procedures. It has established a vast network of seed, in vitro, cryo, field, on-farm conservation, including the National Gene Bank and National Active Germplasm Sites. Next. Coming to the role in human resource development and capacity development, I feel very happy to mention to you that prior to the emergence of NVPGR, scientists were teaching and guiding students of MSc and PhD of genetics division of IRI. I must say that many distinguished students have been trained under this arrangement. And if I name few of them, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan worked on genetic resource related problems on non-tuberous solanums. Yeah, I see Dr. S.K. Sharma, he worked in this division. You might have heard about Manmohan Kohli, a very important breeder in wheat internationals. He worked in cement. He was a student of plant introduction division. Dr. Kurane, who was director of the Vivekanand Laboratory, and many others, including myself. We had been trained under pre-NVPGR era on genetic resources under the umbrella of plant introduction division. We are proud of it. Then realizing the importance of genetic resources in country and abroad, we started the master's and PhD programs in collaboration with IRI since 1997. And I am very happy to note that this arrangement is working very fine. And this is being copied for implementing such programs where multiple institutions of ICR are existing in the same campus. The institute is organizing regular trainings and awareness generation programs, benefiting the stakeholders. This program got greater impetus with the establishment of Team of Excellence under NATP. This is just like Center of Excellence for capacity building, and that Team of Excellence has done marvelous job in trainings in PGR during the agro biodiversity project, which was championed by Nvpgr under NATP initiative. I must also say that the institute had been caring for training of the human resources in the frontier areas. And during 90s, with the efforts of Dr. Rana, Dr. Paroda, and all those people, Dr. Chandel, they identified the training needs, and most of our scientists had opportunity to be trained abroad, and they brought a new culture of work in the institute. And even now, regular trainings within India and outside are being arranged for improvement of the knowledge and the capacity of the scientists. The institute is also hosting the Indian Society of Plant Genetic Resources, which brings a journal, and that is a good resource for the students and the faculty to be banked upon. Next. As mentioned by Ashok, that Nvpgr is the nodal agency for quarantine clearance of the materials imported for research purposes, and it also undertakes processing of transgenics as per the government notifications and the order 2003. Nvpgr also verifies presence or absence of terminator gene and presence of transgenic elements in the imported transgenics. Next. You know that the new seed policy, which came in 1988, liberalized import of seeds and planting materials, and the PFS order 1984, revised in 1989, was issued by the government for better monitoring and also safety from introduction of unintended pathogens or insects. The PFS order of 1989 was revised as Plant Quarantine Order 2003 in the light of WTO agreement for import of plant genetic resources, genetically modified organisms, and bird control agents, etc. It had a requirement of incorporation of additional and special declaration for import of commodities on the basis of standard pest risk analysis. In addition, the additional declaration for no terminate regime was added as per the Protection of Plant Variety and Farmer Rights Act of 2001. ITPGRFA, which you mentioned, was made, and biodiversity legislation of the country required signing of MTA for access of PGRs, which is also being adhered to. Next. Now with this, I have tried to put in here the important accomplishments or contributions of the NBPGR since its inception. These figures have been provided by Ashok. Hopefully, they will keep on shifting every day. You add, delete, or things go on changing. It's a matter of great, satisfaction that the institute has undertaken about 2,900 explorations and have collected about 281,000 accessions indigenously. Close to 9.5 lakhs material has been introduced, and material for trials to the tune of 32 lakhs accession has been introduced through this institute. And germplasm, which has been supplied to the different researchers in the country, tunes to 5.5 lakhs. There are other things given here, how many certificates issued and so on. I leave that, but we come to the germplasm holding, which is now at 1.62 lakhs at present. And then there are some accessions which we have in the cryobank and the in vitro repository. And then the unique program which was initiated was registration of unique germplasm. And so far, 1948 accessions have been registered, and out of which 123 belong to NVPGR. Now, much work has been done on characterization and evaluation, and recently much focus is being given for screening of material for the biotic stresses. The institute has a herbarium of cultivated crops, and that is also a very referral and good material for the researchers and the students. As said that DNA fingerprinting work of different varieties which are released is to be done by the NBPGR, and they have done about 4,500 accessions for this. Very important changes which have taken place is the database development, and about 25 such applications have been developed. And there are 4 mobile apps available for the benefit of the people, researchers, students, and the scientists. Next. As I said that there is a group of crops which are not crops, but they have a potential to be crops. And NPPGR has the responsibilities to take care of that item, with that material, because there are no specified institute to look into that work. And in this endeavor, earlier it was underutilized plants. We have kept several names, but it's good that it is now the potential crops, and about 66 varieties of such crops have been released out of which 55 come from the participating centers and 11 from Nvpgr. That is also a very important contribution. And some of these are slowly becoming crops. Amaranth is picking up. Buckwheat is already important. Then fava bean is picking up. Rice bean has shown a great potential. And so these are the new crops for new climate change requirements. And also the reservoir of genes. I think these are the crops which need to be taken care, and Nvpgr has done a human service in this regard. Next. If we summarize that contribution part, that Nvpgr is in the service of the nation for providing or contributing towards sustainable food and nutrition security through its different activities enlisted here, right from exploration, collection, evaluation, characterization, conservation, then quarantine, PGR policy related things, and the new developments on the genomic resources and so on, which I will talk little later also. And I will rather be showing this part that this, I remember that this facility was operationalized in 1997. And I had the honor and privilege to be the first occupant of this building on 5th of June, 1997. And that's even these nameplates were got fixed with great difficulties. It's good to see these fixed things, but how they are fixed was also a task. And I must say the task done was so, so well, and it has been, example for many institutions. I become nostalgic when I see this building, because I had shifted. I occupied my office in the old building. Somewhere the old building photograph will also be there, but now this is the huge, majestic building where our PGR activities of the nation are being carried. Next. In history of any institute or any organism or any organization, there are milestones which are remembered and should be remembered or recalled so that such initiatives are taken by the succeeding generations. I have picked up a few. There may be some missing things, but once the publication is around, people can go on enriching it and making it more comprehensive and truthful to the extent it is required. But it was in 1983 that the Institute thought of having the National Seed Repository, and it was started with few modules, which were further extended on 1985. But the major initiative was taken under Indo-USAID 9-year project, which was focused on capacity building, training, and facilities for National Gene Bank and quarantine greenhouses at the headquarters and the Hyderabad station. And with this initiative, a very, very important initiative taken by the people at the time, and it led to the establishment of National Gene Bank, which was dedicated to the nation by the then President of India on 18th November 1996. This building, my first task, which the Director General at that time, Dr. Baroda, and DDG, Dr. Mangalarai, assigned to me was to operationalize the building. And that was a task in itself. A task because people are not interested for a change. And I took a calculated risk of shift. I said, okay, I told my people that we are shifting to the new building. The resistance was so high that everybody said so, that there is no water, there is nothing, and there is no, this thing, that thing, everything from their angle was missing. I said, I have started from a small place where there was a small lecture hall made of wood and wooden rooms. The structures were there. So if we can study there, why can't we have this building operationalized? I said, okay, you all be here and I'll move on 5th of June. So that's how I moved. And anybody who does not move, his room will be vacated and he can go anywhere. He will not be having house in the new building if he does not join within a month. Everybody cooperated. So it's good to have resistance, but the resistance was managed and manageable and people cooperated. I'm so grateful to them. And shifting the gene bank was an exercise from old building to the new building. The whole chain of collection, safety of the material and shifting the entire institute, whether clerical or technical or scientific people, everybody collaborated, participated in shifting the gene bank material to these new facilities. And we are proud of it. And then I'm happy that with the passage of time, it requires refurbishment, required to be modernized. And the successive directors took efforts. And in August 2021, this building was again dedicated as a refurbished gene bank to the nation. So this was a great event which has happened. And in this, now I will move to other major projects. We had Indo-UK project to strengthen medium-term storage facility of Nvpgr regional stations and some of the agriculture, some of the ICAR institutes, which was launched in 1993. And this strengthened our capabilities for storage in these stations. We had very important projects from DBT Sport, which includes National Facility for Plant Tissue Culture Repository, G15 National Gene Banks for Medicinal Aromatic Plants, which is there in the old building, the National Quarantine Facility for Transgenic Planting Material. These are the notable sports which have come from DBT for the institute. Establishment of NRC on DNA fingerprinting with the ICR sports results in 1995 was another initiative. And major one I can highlight is the National Agriculture Technology projects. We had two mission mode projects, one on agrobiodiversity, and the second was on household and nutritional security. And the third was the team of excellence, which I mentioned to you. These all three initiatives were launched in 1998. I will take a minute to explain that how difficult it was to have the mission mode project on agrobiodiversity. This project was prepared by as many as close to 150 stakeholders in the country, involving researchers, NGOs, and all people who working on plant genetic resources was roped in this program. And I must say that we made 6 presentation about this project. And every time there was improvement coming. And when the seventh presentation was to be made, I told the DDG, Dr. Rai, that, sir, enough is enough. Even King Bruce had seen at the seventh time the spider was successful. So the King Bruce took that example, and hopefully that story will also prove true for us, and we will have this project. And I must say, everybody agreed, and that project was sanctioned. These initiatives have remarkably augmented the activities of the Institute, and it also led to enhanced capacity and linkages with the stakeholders. The broader visibility in the nation of the country through these initiatives is laudable. I must say, I salute all those people who were there in the formulation, implementation, and review and support of this project. So one of the very successful initiative taken. I must say that the number of exploration taken during this time were more than what we did earlier during the Nvpgr and planted protection time. So you can understand how big was the initiative. Much more than that was that you created a capacity of collectors, evaluators, and characterizers and users through the length and breadth of the country. So this is, I thought I might make a mention of this project. Next. The other initiatives which had been taken include the registration of, can you move further? The registration of plant germplasm, which was started in 1966, 96 and 1996, 97. The repatriation of genetic resources of minor millets from ICAR-NBPGR, and in this regard, the Hyderabad Center has done very good service. These collections were jointly collected by ICAR-NBPGR and India, and because they were not in the mandate of ICAR-NBPGR, so we requested that this material be repatriated, and it was successfully done, and that is how the institutions at work and arrangements lead to the success. Then rice germplasm of Erie, which was collected together, was also repatriated. The Institute also has a safety duplicate of ICAR-NBPGR gene bank material, which we did it in 1996. And now this is a requirement. Earlier, we were not knowing the seed of some of the varieties released by the state or the center. And we sometimes we were at a fix how to get hold of that material. So we impressed upon the crop standards and variety release committee that a sample of the material may be available to made available to NVPGR, along with the submission of proposal for notification of the varieties by the Government of India. I am happy that we could succeed in getting this approved, and this process is going on. So then the subsequent initiative was that all those varieties which are released must be fingerprinted. Now that is what the reference was being made by Dr. Ashok Kumar. That has also been put in place. There are many things which are also equally important to note. That the Institute has hosted successfully the All India Coordinated Research Projects. And initially, I remember, because I was a student at that time, the soybean coordination work was also being done by Sri H.B. Singh ji, which was then shifted to Patnagar. And then we had medicinal aromatic plants project, done wonderful work. Then arid legumes and underutilized crops. These were the coordinated programs of the ICR, which were hosted in the Institute. and the institute has capacitated these projects to contribute to the next one. Presently, the institute is coordinating the ICR network on potential crops, which I mentioned to you how important is that. At present, the institute is implementing platforms for evaluation of gene bank materials, development of core collections, genomic resources, pre-weeding, use of wide relatives of crop plants, on-farm in situ conservation, and material for climate resilience, that is biotic adaptation, etc. I should also make a mention here, with the successful experience of National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources, the ICR is now having the bureaus in animal genetic resources, fishery genetic resources, agriculturally important microbes, then agriculturally important insects, etc. And as we started registration in plants, we also encourage these institutes to start the process of registration of their genetic resources, and that work is going on, and that is a great national service done by the experience of the institute. I should also share that National Bureau of Agriculturally Imported Microbes was also initially hosted in the Nvpgr, and it's all project document, the EFC document, all these things were prepared at Nvpgr, and I had the privilege of signing the EFC of that program, that institute, along with Dr. R.B. Singh, the then director of IRR. So these are silent things which are hardly mentioned, as they need to be highlighted. Your role in total agriculture production, your role in bringing different revolutions in crops, including sugarcane, including fruits, vegetables, and herbs, etc. And that remains under exploited or under mentioned or not clearly stated. So that part should also be looked at. Well, during 90s, there was a lot of interest, a lot of global conventions or agreements internationally have taken place. And looking into the future requirements and our preparedness, there was a need to have a separate system or separate unit for PGR and policy planning. And I took this initiative of starting this unit in 1997. It is providing inputs to different international agreements and also the national acts and instruments like PPVFRA. This, in fact, we were one of the most important institutions where from the input for its draft has gone, and the parliamentary committee had the first-hand orientation done at this institute, and which was very, very great role of the institute. Then similarly for Biological Diversity Act, National Plant Quarantine System, Biosafety, Biosecurity, Seed Policy, Exim Policy, etc. So you have to give your input in these areas, and even climate change, they are also including that what kind of resources will be there and how to handle with those. The unit also helped in preparing a policy paper of NAS on agrobiodiversity, which has very good, useful recommendation implemented from time to time. The Nvpgr is playing its international role very effectively, and for this, I must say that our representatives, as mentioned, Archak is in many committees. Dr. R.C. Agrawal, your former colleague, is a member of the substar of this the governing body, and many people. He has also chaired the Farmers' Right Committee. I had the privilege of being the governing body member of GCDT, and our previous directors have also chaired many of these bodies and contributed very effectively. In fact, the people look forward for India's input in the international arena. That is where our strength is. So what I say from this slide is that right from the institutional contribution, it became a national activity, and it has international contribution and recognition, which is a matter of great satisfaction to all the people, what we call team Nvpgr. Next. This is just a summary of how we have performed in the 5 decades. This is a summary of what we have done. The first decade was devoted to establishment because we did not have, the old building was in IRI behind the serial lab, and it has to be given a separate place. So it came to the NSC part, and it was a big struggle in itself to establish there. And then the small repository and the exploration work was also carried on. And the next, the projects, many initiatives came up, and then the gene bank facilities, and now the large scale characterization, which our colleague, former director, Dr. Vansal, followed by Dr. Singh, took it vigorously. They have been indicated. I am not in a position to see the different things clearly, but this is available in this slide, and my colleagues can further fortify it for the benefit of all those who want to see the things at a glance, what has happened over a period of time in the growth of this institution. Next. Friends, I had many things to share, but there are certain things which my present colleagues may like to see me highlighting, and that is to encourage them. That is, we have to move with the times. What was the priority in first decade? They keep on changing, and that is what we call the topic which this our director wanted to talk to me, harness synergy of service and science. So I thought I should put his word also here to keep him happy. So we have restructured the programs and activities. We would like to have a quick view of that. Next. Now coming to the important thing was that earlier we continued basic activities of Nvpgr, collecting, augmenting, conserving, evaluation, characterization, etc. And with the passage of time, the efficiency got enhanced. And that is a gradual process. And that is where we have now come to a shift in our programs that is focused on enhanced utilization. We are now talking of PGR genomics, characterization and evaluation, large-scale characterization, and PGR informatics. These are some changes which are happening in general. Next. Now coming to the plant germplasm collections, we had traditional methods of doing that, and there's a random collections, then bulk collection, geographical based collections, and so on. But now the focus is being given to gap analysis, targeted collection, trait-based collections, biosystematic studies, and germplasm registration, etc. So there are things which are being fortified or changed or improved, and that is a great value of any institute in improving itself. Next. In plant quarantine, earlier that was a normal process of seeing and rejecting material or doing the things and some efforts on salvaging. Now the major effort is that is salvage the material. Nobody is going to give you material time and again, so you have to salvage. That is being given priority. Then the novel techniques are being used for identification purposes, and weed catalog has been prepared, and rooted materials are being quarantined, and the impact analysis, etc. So this is then, as I mentioned, like GM materials, how it has to be quarantined, and what additional phytosanitation requirements are there, what additional declarations are required. All those things with passage of time are being incorporated by the institute. Next. Then comes to germplasm conservation. Earlier it was the National Gene Bank, Tissue Culture Repository, Cryobank, etc. They are important. They will continue. They are continued to be refurbished, like the National Gene Bank you have refurbished. More focus is being given to field gene banks in case of planting materials, the horticulture and agroforestry plants. The new initiative has come on farm in situ conservation. That's the important thing. Mention was made by the National Herbarium of Cultivated Crops, and use of PGR informatics, which I'll come little later. That is a very important development which has taken place. Next. Now this is the germplasm evaluation. Now that was on a small scale, but now it has taken a large scale evaluation activity, core collection development, evaluation and identification of genetic stocks, and also the pre-breeding, etc. are being focused in a big way. So then we come to the genomic resources, where the work started with the DNA fingerprinting, which has been expanded and integrated with the applied part of doing that work for the release varieties, the multiple molecular core development, and other areas which have been indicated here, the allele mining, then identifying genomic resources and so on. They are important activities being taken under this. I failed to mention in the germplasm conservation, the effort is being made to establish what we call the national vault, seed vault, for conservation of material under natural condition on the basis of, on the line of Svalbard, the gene banks, and that is initiative worth appreciating. So these are some of the important changes which are taking place, and I compliment all those people who are fine-tuning themselves to meet the requirements of the nation. I did mention about in situ on-farm conservation. Some work has been initiated, and it is appreciated. Next. Then work on large-scale multiplication and characterization of germplasm, and for genotyping, and conducting multi-location trial, etc. is also going on. So the director seeing the progress of the work here, the former director, immediate former director. So, and that is commendable work done in this regard. Then I mentioned about pre-breeding and genetic enhancement work, which is very important, which will be giving the improved genetic stocks to the breeders to further work upon in improvement works and so on. That work has been started to limited stage on okra, pepper, lentil, bigna, and chickpeas. Then these are the traits of interest and so on. Next is the PGR informatics, which brings a lot of transformation. I may say that we had a huge chunk of files, and we were working with files only. And I had one difficulty that there was some genetic erosion taking place, even in the process of handling by different divisions. The exploration people used to bring their material, put that in the gene bank earmarked for them, and that used to rot there sometimes when it is not shifted to and taken care further. So we collectively decided to take care of it. And we established what we call germplasm handling unit, which had people from different divisions, including people from informatics. And they did a good work that there is zero tolerance for any loss of genetic material during the processing. And happy that is working, and that should be kept intact. These are good practices, must be kept intact and strengthened, modified as per the need. Now, here comes the importance of the databases, and that is what work has been done by our colleagues and Dr. Archak, previously Dr. Agrawal. We started in 1997 the work of assigning the digital, accessioning, the germplasm material was database was created, and subsequently a lot of things have been created, and I see that good progress has been made. And looking into your strength, you have got a national professor in this area, and that is a great strength. You have brought the apps, you have developed the databases, and that is you are keeping yourself in line with the world development. And we have also got the international databases. You can have now access to, you have access to those databases, and that is a good service. As Dr. Ashok said, that we don't want more towards research. It's very good, but these are all research activities related to provision of services. So these apps are very important and should be useful to the people from time to time, but they need continuous upgradation. These are the apps, the PGR, what is called gene bank dashboard information, then the PGR map and so on. So you can trace which material is where. Now, in coming to yes, here we are. Okay. Well, when we are talking about our own things, it is also good to have a little input of what has happened globally and what we have contributed and how we have been benefited. Now, we have, I must say, we have responded very favorably to the international developments in this field. Rather, we had been ahead of others. The International Board of Plant Genetic Resources was established later than what we had the Division of Plant Reproduction. So we were quite ahead of others, but we have not been shutting our doors from benefiting from the experiences of people outside. Well, at international level, the great scientists, N.I. Babilo, who did a very pioneering work in systematic collection of samples of crop plants from 50 countries during 1920 and 1930. He established the gene bank, which during the war and the World War II was protected by the soldiers. And it is said that the soldiers, though they were starving for many, many days, were so respectful to the collections of Webulo that they did not eat that at all. Rather, 9 of those people who have been guarding it died of hunger. Well, it is all history, and this I'm saying because the people should study that how science can be dumped, how science can be encouraged. Bebelov was criticized by Lysenko, who has given the concept of analyzation, and he was having good rapport with the government, and they got Bebelov criticized, put to jail, and he was given the life imprisonment. And unfortunately, he died in jail, and it is said that he died of hunger. Now, what is correct or what is not correct, we are not going to decide about that. But these are the situations sometimes how the science gets lost. And that was because Bebelov was student of Watson, a geneticist, and he believed in genetics. And Lysenko sentenced or punished those who wanted to encourage genetics, which he thought is a imperialistic idea and should not be promoted in the country. Well, it was good that after the change of the guards in the government, he was posthumously pardoned and recognized as hero of Russian science. And that is Dera Darustai, but his contributions are phenomenal. And he gave what we call the origin of Center of Origins of Crops in 1926, and law of homologous series, which many of our students, hopefully students are also linked in this. And we are all students, we should know it. And that is where we must talk of a person who has influenced this field so much. Subsequently, many American, German, Swedes, British, Latin Americans, and many international PGR exploration and collecting missions were undertaken. In 1960, developing nations started integrating with global PGR program. That is where our role. That is where late Shri H.B. Singh contributed immensely through collaborations and through the joint, the explorations and so on. So that's why he sometimes named as, or people call him, the Indian Bebelov. And really, his contribution is equally phenomenal in this country, in this field. Taking the advantage of these developments, in 1965, a panel of experts on PGR collecting was set up with Otto Frankel as chair. Otto Frankel had been advising or guiding Indian program also, and he gave his report, and this was considered in 1972 on the UN conference on human development, human management, environment, and it mandated the FAO to establish International Forum for Genetic Resources. In 1974, IPPGR, International Board for Plant Genetic Resources, was established under the umbrella of CGIAR to promote and coordinate PGR's worldwide activities. It sponsored 650 exploration missions in 130 nations, leading to 2 lakh collections. They're very important collections, and they are also known as pre-CVD collections, very unique material collected at that time. IFGRI has supported developing countries, including India, and we were fortunate to have its office in Delhi, previously in the old building of Nvpgr itself, and now it has a different form of what we call Biodiversity International. The FAO Commission and ITPGRFA, Global Crop Diversity Trust, CBD, Biodiversity International, PPVFRA, NBA, etc., were established in response to our requirement and the commitment in the international agreements. Nvpgr has played great role in these negotiations, establishment, enactment of the legal instruments in the country. That is where the international developments are equally important to be seen in the present global village. So that's why I thought of making a mention of it. Next comes that since there are many things which can be said, which can be shared, but time has to be taken care. Hopefully I am within time. And that's where this slide is to share with you. One is the photo which I could not get a good photo of Webelow, and a man behind the establishment, collection, exploration, augmentation of PGR. And its work must be read by all people in who are working on this genetic resources. The Condol's work, then Darwin's work, Mendel's work, and work of Webelow, very important things. And the students must read about these things. Sometimes we think that what is present is existing in its present form for a long time, which is not so. Well, I'm just putting these names here, not with as an what we call artifact, but with the great message that India had been fortunate, number one, that we, as the Mendelian discovery took place, rediscovery took place, we accepted genetics right from beginning. We were not, and we were so fortunate that we did not have the kind of controversies which the people had to face in Russia. And Russia is behind many countries, made the world. Even Japan was also affected. So immediately our leaders making in 1937 a call for search for new genes. The slogan given by late Dr. B.P. Paul has done tremendous service to the country as a director of IRI, and then the first Director General of the what we call restructured ICR and so on. Phenomenal contributions. Whether you talk his work in roses, talk in genetic resources, and many programs in our wheat. Excellent work done by him. We really pay rich tribute to this gentleman for making a call in 37 and then establishing a unit in 1946 and choosing a right man for that in Dr. H.B. Singh, who did service, unparalleled service in plant genetic resources in the country. It's also very important to see that I have put here Dr. Swaminathan and Dr. A.B. Joshi. Hopefully when NBPGR was created, Dr. Swaminathan was the Director General of ICAR and Dr. Joshi was the Director of IRI. Now, when the institutions are created, there are a lot of pulls and push. And so good synchrony of thinking at the helm of affairs has made Plant Protection Division to reshape itself into the present institution. It's also very important to know that Dr. Harbhajan Singh is also regarded as a teacher by Dr. Swaminathan. And a lot of work of Dr. Swaminathan, the first very important one, non-tuberous solanums, as I mentioned, is work on plant resources. So these work need to be linked. And Dr. Joshi, a very renowned geneticist and excellent teacher, Dr. Basel might have read during time, studied these courses. And then we have Dr. Puroda, not only as a director of NVPGR, where he gave a leadership, but as a DDG, as a Director General, his contribution to the growth and even the launching of NATP project at Harvard University was a very rich contribution. So that's why I have put in here. And it's also coincidence. Dr. Joshi happened to be his teacher or professor. And that's how the legacy goes from academicians. It is an inherited trait, and good things pass on to the next generations and so on. Next. No institution thrives well if you don't have good people at the helm of affairs. I did mention Harbhajan Singh ji, his contribution up to 1974, the 15th of January. He started in 46 and he expired on 14th of January and of 1974. And that's how here it was plant introduction division. There was a gap, and the gap was ably filled by Dr. Hardas, another very intellectual personality. And during his time, rather de facto, he is the first director of National Bureau of Plant Introduction, because he served in that capacity up to 1st August 1976. So then regular director of NBPGR was Dr. Mehra, contributed tremendously, took part in the international developments, a lot of credit to that person. In between, I will mention a little bit later on, and Dr. Arora. It's a very important systematic botanist, rare personality, full of passion and rich in systematic botany knowledge. And he filled in the gap before Dr. Puroda joins, and after Dr. Puroda left. And then, of course, Dr. Rana took over. Between Rana and me, there was Dr. Chandel, who did the service. Then Dr. G.D. Sharma succeeded me for a while. The gaps are also very important. The gap does not mean that the institution was headless. And then we had Dr. Dillon, a very renowned breeder, and he was succeeded by Dr. Karyalu, who is there, and he may correct me if I'm wrong. Then it was the time of Dr. Sharma. Sharma, I don't know how your photo is not coming clear. People will make it clear before you get it. So Dr. Sharma was then hopefully succeeded by Dr. Karyalu. I don't know. Then Dr. Vansal and Dr. Kuldeep. And now we have Ashok Kumar. So these are, what I want to say is that people at the helm of affairs make a hell of a difference. And people in the intervening period play a very important, equally important role, and all have been very good, very fair, and they have nurtured, they have not shaped the small building into this big building, but they have expanded this entire Indian national plant genetic resource. We salute them for their services. Next. Well, friends, this is a concluding thing. Most important is that NBPGR is an institution with a difference. First difference is that it is a bureau, and bureau has major a service role. And then to complement or support that service, you have the research or HRD activities. So that is the distinction to be understood and to be kept in mind when we talk of NVPGR. Well, it has contributed enormously, and nation feels proud of it. It enjoys respectable position not only in the country but in the global scene as well. For the services rendered to the nation, the institute has got Outstanding Agriculture Institute Award in 1997. I would like to just make a mention that when this the proposal was to be submitted, and that is a very heady document. When it was submitted, I remember that the team which was deputed said, "Sir, we will do it next year." So my words were, "Gentlemen, look here, this time or never. If you don't have confidence, you will never succeed." So the project has to be submitted in the stipulated time, and you should do it. And it was done. We are happy that we got this award. We give great acknowledgement of the services done by the institute. As I said, that it has a rich legacy, not baggage, and has, as many of our colleagues have shouldered higher position or are shouldering higher position in ICR. We had Dr. Puroda as a Director General of the ICR, and then many DDGs, and then Vice Chancellors in State Agriculture University, President of NAS, then they have served in ICAR, IPGRI, Biodiversity, CABI, APARI, FAO, ICRISAT, TERI, NBA, and PPV, FRA, etc. And we have amongst us 3 Padma Shri, amongst in the including late Shri Harbhajan Singh and Dr. Dilo, and Padma Awardee Dr. Puroda. We pay rich tributes to all the mentors. We appreciate their concern and guidance given from time to time. I must mention that Dr. Puroda is presently also the president of Indian Society of Plant Genetic Resources, and he has led many discussions, many programs, including the brainstorming sessions for amendment of Biological Diversity Act, where many people have contributed, and the suggestions given by Bureau and the society had been very much appreciated, and Dr. Puroda was invited for presentation in the Joint Parliamentary Committee also. So these are the contributions which people are making, whether they are presently directors or no, but our role and contribution will continue. We are proud of the laborious and committed, what I call team NVPGR. But there is no room for complacency. There are many challenges, many threats, many opportunities, and we must capitalize on them. And that is where I thought I should also make a mention that my association with the NVPGR started with as a student in 1968, and that association is intact. Even now, I am chairing their research advisory committee. So I have been seeing as a student, as a director, as a user of genetic resources, as a breeder, and as a teacher, using their teaching material, and now try to look into how we can really help their research activities to be more relevant and useful. With this, congratulations to all NBPGR people and its entire fraternity. In fact, this Indian National Plant Genetic Resource System family, a huge family, deserves congratulations and best wishes for the task ahead. Next. So that comes to an end. Thanks to everybody. And I really feel very happy that I am delivering this lecture in commemoration of Dr. Harbhajan Singh's lecture series, and in the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. You have given me a privilege. I'm grateful to you all. Hopefully, I could come to your expectations in making you understand what I know about NVPGR or what I don't know about NVPGR. So with this, I hope the listeners had been not disturbed by the projection things, but I had some difficulty, but I must say the coordination done by Archak is also appreciated. I had input given by Dr. Ashok and his team, including Kavita and Hanuman Singh, and I am grateful to them also. The information provided was so huge that it could have taken me 2-3 hours, because but synthesizing it was a task. Hopefully I could do it, and it may be useful to know. Last, again grateful to you, Dr. Basel, for being gracious and being available for this important function. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And the privilege and honor and pleasure is all ours, always. It is a pleasure to hear you take us through the journey of NVPGR from its humble beginnings in IRI and to its current national and international status in the service of PGR. With that, we'd like to request Dr. S.K. Vasan, our chief guest, to please release a few NVPGR publications. While Sir will be releasing the publications in the NVPGR, you will be shown a slide so that you can just see on your screens which are the publications being released. In this series, the first publication that we are going to release is on the occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We know that 75 years of independence have been there. And in this series, the first publication which is there is 75 unique introductions in plant genetic resources. This book shows us the 75 unique and important promising introductions made by NVPGR, which have played a crucial role in diversification of Indian agriculture. These are presented in 3 groups representing new crops for India, promising popular varieties which have directly been used as introductions or used in the breeding of new varieties. Also, the wild species and crop wild relatives which have played a pivotal role in the crop improvement programs have been detailed in here. The second in this series is the 75 trait-specific germplasm identified by ICAR-NBPGR. This book has been authored, edited by Dr. Anjali Kak, Veena Gupta, Sunil Archak, and Ashok Kumar. And it presents information and photographs of 75 unique germplasm identified by ICAR-NBPGR. And each of the genetic stocks that have been provided are there with QR codes that can be used to access the detailed information related to these lines. The previous publication was edited by Drs. Vanna Tyagi, Pratibha Brahmi, S.K. Yadav, Pragya, Puran Chandra, and Ashok Kumar. The next publication that we have is Crop File Relatives in India, Prioritization and Collection and Conservation. The authors of this are Dr. K. Pradeep, S.P. Alawat, S. Nivedita, Veena Gupta, and Kuldeep Singh. This book provides information on importance of 769 species of crop file relatives, their collection and conservation status in India. The prioritization among shortlisted taxa have identified 292 crop file relative taxa for gaps and diversity-rich pockets for their collection and conservation in the country. These are alphabetically arranged along with the number of conserved accessions and remarks. The next book in series is the Management of Citrus Genetic Resources, SOPs for Collection and Conservation. This publication aims to provide comprehensive standard procedures for collection and conservation of citrus germplasm in India, which are the third most important fruit crops after mango and banana. The SOPs would serve as comprehensive resource for all researchers and laboratories involved in the management of germplasm of citrus and other fruit crops. This publication has been brought out by Dr. S.K. Malik, Sangeeta Bansal, R.K. Kakoti, Julius Ochoy, and S.P. Alawat. The next in series is the publication, which is Grain Amaranth, Grain of Future with High Nutritional Quality. This has been brought out to bring out the information pertaining to grain amaranth, which has been scattered up till now. And sincere efforts have been placed to make this publication for compilation of the information covering different aspects of grain amaranth crop for the benefit of farmers, researchers, and planners. The next publication in line is a very dear publication to NVPGR. The publication is entitled Genus Allium of the Indian Region, a field guide for germplasm collection and identification. The authors of this publication are Dr. Anjula Pandey, Pavan Kumar Mala, K.M. Rai, and S.P. Alawat. And this book is an outcome of research and finding by the senior author who has dedicated this book to late Dr. Kuldeep Singh Negi, an eminent ethnobotanist and explorer from Nvpgr Bhavali, who devoted his life to collecting indigenous allium species in the country. An effort to document allium diversity in the world and Indian Gene Center. This is the first document of its own kind dealing with genetic resources of Indian allium. We would like to acknowledge the contributions made by late Dr. Kuldeep Singh Negi, who had been instrumental in establishing the allium field gene bank at Regional Station Bhavali in 1987. His efforts to establish the critically endangered alien stretchy eye in the field gene bank there will always be remembered. And we thank Dr. Anjula Pandey and the other authors to dedicate this book to him. The next in series is the catalog of type specimens in National Herbarium of Cultivated Plants, brought out by Drs. Anjula Pandey, R.K. Parmarthi, K. Pradeep, Rita Gupta, and S.P. Alawat. The document on type collection under the genera Curcuma, Momordica, Avilmoscus, Cucumis, Trichosanthus, Vigna, Piper, and Herpetospermum, described by the ICAR-NBPGR during a period of 4 decades, are detailed out. The voucher specimens of these in original were deposited by the authors in the NHCP. The next is the QR code generation of NVPGR trees. The lead person for this are N.S. Pawar and Ankur Tomar. A total of 58 QR code labels were generated for trees in the old campus of NVPGR. Users can scan and know the details of trees the botanical name, family, local name, and the uses of that particular tree along with the photograph. This will facilitate the identification of trees in all stages of growth period. This also is a book related to that, which is entitled the ICAR-NBPGR Plant Diversity, Knowledge Enhancement Towards Green Wealth. इसके बाद हम डॉक्टर सुनील अर्चक नेशनल फेलो ICR.
I think, one second, Manjusha, I think they're going to release the books there.
Okay. I think they have released, sir.
So they have done simultaneously.
Yes. I think we thank you, sir, for releasing all the book publications. अब हमारे पास दो applications हैं जो डॉक्टर सुनील अर्चक नेशनल फेलो ICR ने डेवलप किया है और पिछले 5 सालों से निरंतर डॉक्टर अर्चक has been releasing some or the other applications. In that line, I'd like to invite Dr. Archak to please present the applications to the, and I'd like to request Dr. PL Gautam to please launch these applications.
Thank you very much, Dr. Manjusha. It's indeed a great privilege and pleasure for me. Sir, I would like to place on record here that it's only ICAR in the entire world that is funding especially for development of plant genetic resources information system in the form of a ICAR National Fellow Project. And I'm happy that Dr. R.C. Agrawal, DDG Education ICAR is here amongst us. He is taking care of all these, let's say, National Fellow and National Professor part. And thank you very much, sir. May I now, I just have to mention 2 points and then I will hand it over to the heads of the respective divisions for mentioning these about these applications. I just want to mention here to Dr. Gautam sir that when you were here, you started DNA banking. You put all of us in that DNA banking. Now conservation of plant genomic resources is going on systematically. So there is going to be an application for managing that particular thing. And then you also mentioned during your presentation about how transformation took place in plant quarantine division with all the facilities. So after a long time and lots of efforts, we have application in managing the information of plant quarantine, which is carried out only by Nvpgr in the country. So these are the 2 applications. Now I request Dr. Celia Chalam to take over first to talk about the plant quarantine information system.
Dr. Sunil. Good afternoon, everyone. As all of us know that germplasm is imported into the country and doing a plant quarantine undertakes the quarantine processing. And in this process, we have intercepted 77 exotic pests. Next slide. And we have physical records right from beginning, 4.5 decades, regarding the IQ number, IP number, country, crop, everything. And then we used to physically write the interceptions. But now with this application, you can see here the red color one. Here we have included about 1400 pests, whether it is a fungi, bacteria, virus, nematodes, as which were mentioned in the plant quarantine order, and also those were intercepted in germplasm. So in the scientists who would be updating this, in one click they can add the pest name. And this is just an example. You have the okra here, IQ number, IP number, and then what are the pests intercepted. Maybe the screen is small. These are all the fungi which have been intercepted, and the treatment is given, and the release date is also mentioned here. And the tests also, the pathologists have done the blotter test, entomologists have done the x-rays. All these things are incorporated here, and in one, and the treatments are also mentioned here. Fungicidal treatment or acid wash, whether it is done by ELISA or RT-PCR or PUQ growing. So everything what we were putting in the physical records, now we have this portal, and in one click we will get the report for each month or quarterly or 1 year. And then this is this has been done in collaboration with, of course, our own division of plant quarantine and the regional station Hyderabad, and Dr. Sunil Achak and his team. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. The next application is on the dashboard of National Genomic Resource Repository. This is the latest version of the DNA banking, sir. May I now request Dr. Gurinderjit Randhawa, madam?
Good afternoon to you all. As Dr. Sunil Achak has already mentioned that most of the applications are available on conservation, and this application specifically is for retrieving the information on the development and application of plant genetic resources. And Dr. Sunil Achak and Dr. Sandeep, who is taking care of this project, they collectively put immense efforts, and this is the result of that. I'm very pleased that Dr. Gautam is here. That was, his initial idea way back in 97 and 98. He wanted to have the DNA bank. Third, we have come a long way with the blessings of you all, and I see Dr. Kuldeep Singh also here. So he was also emphasizing all the time that if we can bring this app and it is open to the users so that, it can be of some use to everybody. And I'll ask Dr. Sunil to add something else if we'd like to explain something about the details of this. And this is the day of cherishing the contributions and blessings of you all, our stalwarts, and all the people, all the researchers who contributed to bring NVPGR to this international heights. So we bow to you all for being with us and blessing us. Day of rejoicing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. With that, we come to the place in this program wherein we would like to hear the remarks by our former directors. Please help me to locate. I was seeing 3 previous directors earlier, but abhi mujhe.
I think they have switched off the videos. I'm just trying to see. अभी Dr. Karihalu है, Manjusha.
Sir, Dr. Karihalu, please share a few words of wisdom with us, please, on this occasion.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I have already, in the chat, I have already sent my comment. Thank you, Dr. Gautam, for this very wonderful presentation. I think hardly anybody else could do a justification of the wonderful history of NBPGR than Dr. Gautam did. I very much wish, in fact, I would, if I have any authority or anything, I would like to request NBPGR to compile this into a document. Please do that. This is very important for the future generations. And my sincere wish is that compile this into a document and let it be for posterity's sake, that people know how much people have contributed to the development of NBPGR. And many times I would say without any wish for anything in return. Dr. Gautam has elaborated on on many of the personalities who have contributed to it. Then if you would look into the contribution of individual heads of the departments within the different divisions, and Dr. Gautam will agree with me, how they have, without any hope or demanding anything in return. Particularly, it has been a service-based organization, and the return for the effort that they have really made, many times it has not come about, and we must acknowledge that. And if all this could be making Dr. Gautam's presentation as a backbone, and more information added to it and compiled into form of a very significant document, it would be a wonderful historical account of NVPGR. Thank you, Dr. Gautam, again. And I really recall the wonderful time that we had with us. All of us were on toes during that period. I remember very much how we would go with you around all room. Each item of furniture would be inspected by you and the committee. Rarely, and I cannot fathom that many people would really know what went into it. So thank you so much for recalling those wonderful days. All good health to you, and more contribution, your contribution towards PGR and plant sciences in itself. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I think, Dr. Archak, we are not seeing anybody right now.
And Dr. S.K. Sharma is there in the audience. May I request Dr. Sharma please to switch on the video, sir? We also have Dr. R.C. Agrawal who has joined us.
Yes, I'll go to Dr. Agrawal in a minute. Is Dr. S.K. Sharma there? I think sir शायद leave कर दिया है.
ना है, लेकिन वो वीडियो ऑन नहीं कर रही है क्या?
Okay, then I think I'll take this as a moment to call upon our DDG Education ICAR, Dr. R.K. Agrawal sir को मैं आमंत्रित करूंगी कि हमारे साथ कुछ words of wisdom share करें.
Thank you, Dr. Manjusha, and thank you, Dr. Ashok Kumar, for giving me this opportunity to be part of this important day, the 46th foundation day of this NVPGR. Honorable Chief Guest for today's program, Dr. P.L. Gautam Sahab, Dr. Vasal Sahab, and I see many former directors, Dr. Karihalu, Dr. Sharmaji, and all the stalwarts who have really contributed for the growth of this institute. We have, first of all, I want to congratulate each one of you on this 46th day. I think many of you have been involved right from beginning in the growth of this institute. We have seen how the institute was at the old building, and how difficult time it was to struggle to shift to new building, how it was to make the impact of this institute. So that's really a great contribution by all our visionaries. You can see from Dr. Harbhajan Singh till date, and in between we had many other important directors. Dr. Paroda Sahab, I think he made remarkable contribution. Dr. Gautam, Dr. Rana, you can see a long list in this. So the contribution of all these persons has really made the institute to come to a place in which the world recognizes now its contribution. It's not only the number that we have the #2 gene bank in the world, but also the policies, also the many other initiatives, the models which have been developed by this institute. So it is a day when we have to just introspect, just see how we have come a long way to this present position. Now, maybe the new generations who have joined may not be knowing the struggle which has been there in the past. But today, whatever you see is really, you should be proud of that you are working in this great institute. And this institute, if you go to any part of the world, you need not to introduce now. Earlier, when we were working, I think 89, 90, we have to tell to the persons even in Pusa that yes, you are from Nvpgr. What is Nvpgr? Okay, where it is located. So number of things we have to tell. But today, no, nothing you have to tell. And if you see any kind of technical impact also, you can be really proud of this. So it's a very important day for all of us to cherish the foundation day of this great institute. And especially we are proud that Dr. Gautam is here, and he elaborated in a very nicely way the complete journey from beginning till date. And even now, in various capacities, he is really contributing, whether in the form of RAC, QRT, whether in the form of any expert committee, whether he was in as the chairman of the NBA or the chairman of the PPF authority. From everywhere, the institute was always in his heart, that how to support this institute and how to support the growth of this institute. And really, and the another dimension in which I was really involved, the IT component. So thank you, Dr. Sunil, for taking it forward. And today, whatever you have released, it's again worth praising. And the other documents which we have seen, the publications, a lot of important publications, especially in the memory of our late Dr. Kuldeep Singh, Dr. Kuldeep Negi, who was really a pioneer worker, and you have brought out a publication in his memory. I think it's really a great work we have done. I don't know whether Dr. Kuldeep Singh is here or not today, but he has also made a remarkable contribution. Dr. Bansal, everybody. So it's really a great tradition to have this Foundation Day, and the person who made this Foundation Day start is also present among us today, Dr. Gautam Sahab. I think he was the one who just told all of us, especially Dr. Kochar was that time, that find out when this institute was formulated and let us start this important event. So thank you, sir, for this novel idea, which is being continued even today. And on this day, really, we have to again see our long journey, and we have to make the roadmap for the future. The immediate concern for all of us is the next month ITPGRFA GB meeting, in which each one of you has to contribute. I feel proud that it is being organized in India for the first time. And it will be a great Kumbh Mela, I can say, where you have 800, you will have 800 participants from more than 150 countries. So let us take advantage. I request all of you, especially Dr. Ashok Kumar, that let us make the complete plan that what kind of MOUs, what kind of collaborations, what kind of showcasing, what kind of exhibitions, what kind of our technical collaborations we can have and take full advantage of this. Let us have not only the side events, let us have the other kind of publications which we can release, distribute freely, make it available so that the world should know the strength of this institute. I think on this day we can take this commitment and take advantage of this unique opportunity. It is a lifetime opportunity where you will have such mega event in the PGR, for which the formulation of ITPGR was also by India. We were the pioneers, I think, way back in 2001. So let us again take advantage of this next month meeting, in which on day-to-day basis we are really preparing. The Nvpgr is one of the nodal agency for this. Yes, I can see Dr. Sharma now. So yes, he is again a great visionary, and a lot of contribution made by Dr. Sharma also. So everybody has made a contribution in the milestone. And I thank you very much, Dr. Ashok Kumar. And I personally congratulate you. I am sorry that physically I could not come there, despite being just 2 kilometers away from here. because already we have so many commitments, but nevertheless the meeting is more important. Presence is more important. So I thought, let me make my presence so that I can see all my mentors. I can meet all of you virtually, and physically also. I'll just come in a day or so. I'll just see all of you. So thank you very much, and once again I wish you all the best. Namaskar.
So thank you for your remarks. And जैसे कि सर ने कहा कि he has acknowledged the presence of Dr. S.K. Sharma, and we are thankful that sir is here. If the chair will permit, we'd like to have the remarks from Dr. S.K. Sharma right now.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, I was around and I got a message from Dr. R.K. Gautam. So definitely I will speak a few words on this 46th Foundation Day. Respected Dr. Gautam and Dr. Basal, Dr. Ashok Kumar, the director, and all the Dr. R.C. Agrawal and all the scientists of the Bureau. First of all, I congratulate you all on this Foundation Day and wish you good luck in years to come. And Dr. Gautam gave a very informative lecture, a review lecture about the growth of the Nvpgr, and many informations which he provided. Actually, I was also not knowing. It would be good if this presentation is distributed to all the younger, or in fact to all the scientists of the Bureau for their future use, because it is very difficult to collate such information by everybody. And very excellent was the presentation. And I would like to, on this occasion, I would like to mention one or two things. As Dr. Gautam said, that I also worked with Dr. Harbhajan Singh, who delivered the 9th memorial lecture, Dr. H.V. Singh Memorial Lecture. It was in 71 when I got admitted to the Genetics Division of IRI, and I was allotted to Dr. H.V. Singh. And I inquired, about Dr. H.V. Singh, and I was told that he is the head of the Plant Introduction Division. So obviously I went to the Plant Introduction Division and met him. And he asked me about my whereabouts, my state and the place and the district. I told I come from Himachal Pradesh, and I have graduated from then the College of Agriculture under the Punjab Agriculture University, and now it is the Himachal Pradesh Krishi Vishwavidyalaya Palampur. And he told me that I know Dr. Kalia, who was the dean at the time. And then he asked me that, can you tell me your district and the place, or your native place and the town? I said, I come from a small village near Jwalaji. It's a temple, it's a religious place. And he said that I have traveled in those areas. And he told me some, name of some of the places around my town. So he told me that he has traveled very extensively in Himachal Pradesh, in Shimla Hills, in Mandi, Kullu, especially Lahore Spiti, and many other places. So he was, as Dr. Gautam said, and as you all know, that he used to travel very extensively. And I have seen some of the old photographs of Dr. H.V. Singh during exploration. And he was carrying, the laltan that we used to have earlier, and with all those, the implements or the instruments which are required during exploration. That is one. And when I joined Bureau in June 2006, so after joining as a matter of protocol, I met Dr. Mangla Rai as DG at the time. And So he told me that, look here, Dr. Sharma, that now you should not focus on research. I have seen your CV, I have seen your biodata very carefully. Because he told me that Nvpgr is the service institute, and you have to do a lot of hard work, and you will get a full cooperation from me and also from DDG. Dr. Kallu. Dr. Kallu was looking after the work of DDG Crop Science at the time. In fact, he also joined a little later. And he said that Bureau has to do a lot of service. But over the years, the institute has grown not only as a service institute, but it has also grown as a science institute. I had the privilege of chairing the RSC also a couple of years back. And even today, I'm in touch with the institute and go through many publications of the scientists. And now, and I also said during the RSC meeting that Bureau is not only the service institute, but it has also grown into a science institute also. So service plus science, both are very important component. So I'm happy that a lot of publications were released today, and very outstanding publications I have seen in peer-reviewed high-impact journals coming from Bureau. And that was not before. So that is a very good development, and I hope the Bureau will keep these two activities in mind, the service that Bureau is providing, and also the science component, because a lot of science component has to go into the plant genetic resources. So with these words, I once again congratulate all the scientists on this Foundation Day, 46th Foundation Day, and wish you good luck. And I was really benefited from the talk of Dr. Gautam, actually very informative. And this must be preserved, PPT must be distributed, and so that we all get, particularly the younger generation, they are able to know as how their institute grew. Because nowadays, all facilities are available, but those who have worked in the initial stages, they struggle really very hard, as Dr. Gautam mentioned. And obviously, building institutions is very difficult. You can easily work in an institute which is already grown, but to build an institute and then to work is really difficult. So thank you very much, Dr. Archit and Dr. Ashok for giving an opportunity to speak few words on this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for acknowledging our presence on the science map. And with this, I will take the program forward towards requesting our
Manjusha?
Yes.
And Dr. Kuldeep Singh had joined earlier, but because he had another institutional meeting, so he had to go back and join that meeting. So he had asked me to convey his message to all the colleagues here. First of all, he has congratulated and wished all the best to all of us on the Foundation Day, and a specific message to all the young scientists who are particularly part of these mega projects. So he has asked them to stay awake, alive, and ensure that the final products are delivered on time, and then the reputation of the institute is not compromised. So he has cautioned all of us, and he has wished all the best to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. With that, I think we'll take the program forward and we'll request our chief guest. We are honored to have with us the World Food Prize laureate, Professor S.K. Vassal with us. And we all know him as the developer of the Miracle Maize, and he's a renowned geneticist. And sir, we'll be so very thankful to you if you can share with us a few words.
And I want to please all of them, attending this meeting today. Happy, Dr. Gautam, I met him in Poland, when the agriculture college was started, and he was a student there, and I had to teach him some courses on genetics, So I'm very happy to see that he has held so many important positions in Indian agriculture, Director General Research, Vice Chancellor, and also the Transport from Protection Area. And I think the talk he gave was very exhaustive. A lot of things which are very, very important, but from historical point of view, as mentioned earlier by many other speakers, I think it's good to document all of them, and it will be very useful for the younger generation to know how this institution has grown to such an extent, over the past 20, 40 years. I remember, at least I have known most of the directors who have been here, right from Dr. Mehta, he was basically when I was student here, working from here. Then they gone, of course, all other people who have worked here, Dr. Bilno and Dr. Putin Singh, Sean also I have been there. So, basically, I've known all of them. And I think that, as mentioned earlier, when I was a student, it happened to be a plant production field, just close to office, very close to the central library, And Dr. Karan Singh was a very simple-hearted person, and he had a very good relation with Dr. L.S. Negi, who happened to be the director of agriculture in Himachal Pradesh at that time. And that is what you see here. Dr. Karan Singh got a lot of support, from Dr. Negi to visit many areas of Himachal Pradesh, and especially for crops like, mentioned amaranthus, buckwheat, and species. And if I remember, even a small bulletin was published at that time, which is called Zero Cereals. So these three crops were covered. And I also fortunately had worked in the Himachal Pradesh for 4 years, so I also worked on these crops. But sometimes, we had to travel to Rampur, on foot, sometimes 2 days or 3 days, So again, I think it's very good that Dr. Abhijit Singh was a great explorer. He traveled the north and he collected many of the samples that we see today in here. Now, I think Dr. Gautam has covered so many different areas, and but one thing is very important, how the institution infrastructure has built over time. We have got enough stations out there. There are many crops we are working with, and it is continuing building up. So my suggestion is at some point in time, while doing more is always good, but sometimes you have to get back a little bit to reduce the workload, especially on quarantine. When I, was chairman of the review, I noticed, the area where we can reduce the workload, so we can do the thing more efficiently. And quarantine is one area because it requires a lot of effort here. Somehow we need to find a mechanism for rather than everybody requesting samples from different places. Sometimes, like Simtin per line is a good example here. So we have got almost 600 per line. If someone can increase that line, if anybody from the country wants that seed, it can be supplied here rather than sending west to headquarters, Mexico, and go through all that kind of procedure. And I was very much instrumental to talk to Dr. Sagal from Cell Foundation to get all those lines, and then we increase the seed, and then we were trying to apply all these fields to whosoever was needing. So some kind of mechanism can be worked out so that the quarantine load also can be reduced, and also people would have to request by the certificate, and all those kind of things. Now, I'm excited, that some of the students also have been creating the master's and PhD. And also there is a course there on the non-plant genetics. One thing in my opinion is, from my own personal experience, is we need to look at the maintenance, how the materials are maintained. Many times I feel, at least in case of maize, from the standpoint of doing the consciously right things, but actually sometimes common sense is lacking. So, just like, in cross-pollinated crop, they are making controlled pollination, but then they are making some kind of bulk shipping. They don't realize that the pollen from the other line, they stick on the outside of the bag, and when they push the pollen, some foreign pollen also. So, sometimes we have to be a little bit careful. Maintenance strategies also have to be really looked at the materials, at least in the cross-pollinated crop, they are maintained in the right way, which is very, very, very important. And also, what should be the right size of the sample size we need to choose to maintain that particular collection. Now, in my opinion, plant genetic resources just like a wealth. And when we have good wealth, then the new ideas are also born. What we can do with this kind of thing. My first experience was, when I started working with the Doctor Foundation as a research associate in Thailand in 1967. I was supposed to make a high composite, and it included almost 46 different collections from Central and South America. So that was first experience how we can, consolidate some of the collections, and make a new population. And this is later on they introduced and then became on one. And this is one of the best material which is being used internationally all over the world. Even the temperate areas have also changed the photophysical sensitivity of this material to make it useful in temperate area. So I think, in my opinion, is once we group these materials that we have in the bank, it's very important. Like in maize, Proper Foundation, I think really was not mentioned at all. Proper Foundation has played a very, very important role in agriculture sciences since 1940s. The first attempt was to have all the races of maize which are grown in Mexico, Central America, other places. So actually, there are at least 9-10 different monographs which indicates races of maize in Mexico, Guatemala, Brazil, Peru, Ecuador, all those countries. So this was a very, very important effort, at least in the case of maize. We know all the germplasm which is available in different countries, where it has originated, So these 9 or 10 monographs are published, which indicate all the 250 races of maize which are available. So now the thing is, I think in any kind of non-genetic resources, I think whether the program do it or the institution like PGR do it, I think the first important thing is we need to have, in my own opinion, germplasm management system. Unless you have a germplasm management system, you will not be able to use all these materials that you store in the bank very, very much. Many times there are duplicates also there, But I think when I went to Syria, my first responsibility in 1970 was to come up with a system to help the national program through some kind of international system. So we came up with, the system, you can call it 3-tier system, where we have materials, from the bank, 500, 600 materials which should be evaluated. Then we have the next one, pools, you need to maybe consisting of sometimes 50 materials or 60 materials. but then they were open-ended so that new materials can also be added. And we have another layer, which is the populations which are relatively more refined, and on the top of that, then there was a hybrid technology. So I think this is one thing is very important, which I find, I think, in many flora or institutions all over the world. I would say when you ask a simple question, what is the genetic base of your flora? Many people cannot answer this question. So this is something, in my opinion, is very serious matter we need to consider. Even here in India, I find it when I ask this question, what is the genetic base of your flora? They do not come up with a very clear answer. Now, this is much more important, in my opinion, is in the hybrid crops. Here we need to know about the grouping of the materials. You need to know how you can group it, and I think there is one thing which I propose, and I do it always, some kind of economic modeling, how such a large number of materials which you can use in your program. There is not only restrict to few materials only to drive in per line, then also have a system where you can continuously improve the source your problem. Then I think in my opinion, in case of maize, we need to think of a single strategy which will be multi-purpose and also multidisciplinary. This is something, in my opinion, is very, very important. And we have very likely reciprocal different stacking or inward hybrid technology. Both can serve this kind of purpose very, very well. In my opinion, inward hybrid technology is such a powerful, you can call it a rocket, has a fire power that you can do everything you want. And I think you can even foresee what new problems are going to come. Because inward lines are the most susceptible materials and being. So I think that you can have continuous monitoring of economically good resources based on, and we can see some new problems coming up. Also, I think we should not look at inward hybrid program only to develop inward line and hybrid. I think during this process, we can get so many different materials. Like everybody likes to have stay green. Everybody would like to have lodging resistance. Everybody would like to have red trees, to capture more photoperiod, Then there are a lot of opportunities of developing synthetics for disease resistance and for insects and all those kind of things. So I think inward hybrid technology, and this is where I think even in institutions like this, I think we are not paying any attention because we have so much material here. I think we sometimes material come with information. What is the hypothetic groupings of the lines we can receive, but somehow this aspect is missing. I think we need to pay a little bit attention to this so that right now with emphasis on hybrid technology, in maize and in other crops, I think this is one area in my opinion we need to strengthen a little bit here and provide people with important information. Now I think another thing is we talk about time jumping, how to reduce cycle, do things more quickly. Now, in case of maize, we have experience, we use predictions, 3 ways and doubles. Now, I think one area which is really missing in maize program is research on maize testers. We have to have special effort on developing new and better testers in different hypothetic groups. And then I think if these testers are used as parent of a hybrid, so actually in one step we can identify new hybrid. We don't need to have 4 or 5 years, taking dials, predicting performance and all of. So good testers can be developed different hypothetic groups. I think that it will be the best possible time jumping strategy that we can do. I think. So I think I appreciate the work which has been done in this institution, how it has grown here. I think that there are a lot of people. I remember when I met Dr. Pro the first time as a director, he was sitting in the old building, But now when I see how the new facilities have worked, and then a lot of new staffs are there. They are also using new technology in the market and all those kinds of things. This is very happy, movement and milestone which the institutions have received over a period of time. And I think we all appreciate the kind of publications which have been released today. I think the quality of this is very, very important, and I think we look very, very good for the publications that we have seen here. And I think capacity building is always important, whatever we do. My opinion, I have put too much emphasis on this in my own life. I've gained many postdocs, many research associates, and I have delivered courses on hybrid technology, what we put in, and even population improvement. It's very important, because right now, I think as we see here, people are not knowing very much about conventional technology, conventional breeding methodology. Everybody talks about, I think engineering, this and that. But what conventional technologies can do, I think we can modify a little bit. I think we need to make an attempt to blend conventional technologies with new technologies that are being learned from time to time. So this is one area I think we need to think, how we can blend this technology there. So I think overall, I'd like to congratulate all the Nvpgr staff for being able to share this, and also to listen to Dr. Gautam, excellent lecture he has given, and I think it is a historical in a way that we know what has happened over the past 40 years. It's very, very important. It will be a guide for students, for the newcomers to know how this institution has. And also, I'd like to thank Dr. Sharma, Dr. Agarwal, and Jadhav, many other people who are attending lecture today. So I think my best wishes for further growth. Dr. Gautam, growth, but I am thinking of how it can grow much better tomorrow than what is. These words I like to thank and everybody present.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the chief guest's address, and we are all enriched by your knowledge, and we are very thankful to you that you have imparted your words of wisdom to us. And with that, I think we are coming to the end of this program, and I'd like to request Dr. Kavita Gupta, PME Nodal Officer, to kindly give the vote of thanks.
Dr. Manjusha. Most respected Dr. S.K. Vasan, who chaired the program today. Dr. P.L. Gautam delivered the 9th Dr. Harbhajan Singh Memorial Lecture. Dr. R.C. Agarwal, former director, senior colleagues, and dear friends who have joined us today. I have been assigned this very pleasant task of proposing the vote of thanks. First of all, we wish to express our sincere gratitude to the Honorable Dr. S.K. Vasan, sir, World Food Prize laureate and distinguished scientist, for chairing today's function. Thank you, sir, for your very kind support, inspiring words, and also for your keen interest in biodiversity and especially in Nvpgr. We are extremely thankful to Dr. P.L. Gautam, former chairperson PPVFRA, NBA, former director at Nvpgr, former vice chancellor, GB, and so many, who is a renowned scientist with vast experience, for his very wonderful lecture on the growth of Nvpgr. Sir, we are extremely fortunate to have got this opportunity to listen to you on the occasion of the. A lot of seniors have felt very nostalgic, and it was a big learning for many of the youngsters who were not there at the time. We are also thankful to Dr. R.C. Agarwal, DDG Education, as the guest of honor, and as a former colleague of Nvpgr, for his wonderful remarks and for words of encouragement. I also want to thank our former directors who joined us, Dr. S.K. Sharma, Dr. Kuldeep Singh, who joined us will be very briefly, Dr. Kaltalu and others, and also our senior retired colleagues for graciously accepting our invitation and for their blessings. Sincere thanks to Director Nvpgr who was involved right from the beginning to steer the organization of this entire program. Our HODs, OICs, Dr. P.K. Jain, Prashant Sharmaji also deserve a special thanks for their suggestions and for their contribution in organizing this event. I sincerely thank all my colleagues in the invitation committee, Dr. Pratibha, Dr. Anjula, Dr. Vandana, Dr. Lalit, Dr. Amit Kumar, Monica Singh, Dr. Gautami, Padma, Dr. Mrs. Sangeeta Gambhir, and Mrs. Kanchan Purana for their efforts. The whole committee is also duly acknowledged and appreciated for their seamless arrangements. Dr. Sunil Archak, Dr. Sherry, Mr. Arun, and Mr. Vijay Mandal. Dr. Sushil Pandey, Jamil Akhtar, Dr. Kuldeep Tripathi, Dr. A.D. Sharma, and Arun are also sincerely appreciated for all their arrangements for refreshment. A special thanks to Dr. Manjusha for smoothly moderating this program. I also want to thank my PME cell colleagues, Shivangi, Vikas, and Sanjeev, for their all-out help as and when needed. A big thank you to all the participants. We have with us a lot of senior colleagues from ICAR, Vice Chancellors, Dr. J.P. Singh, Vice Chancellor, Sukast, J.P. Sharma, sorry, Director IIPR, Dr. Sudhir Pocher, and many other senior colleagues from our sister institutes, participants from PFRA, and other organizations for their presence this morning. I also thank all the OICs of the regional stations and staff of Nvpgr for their participation. A very special thanks to all the students participating in the program. At the end, I wish to thank one and all who have contributed to this webinar in one way or the other, and a very happy Foundation Day to everyone.
Thank Dr. Kavita Gupta, who is the force behind this whole event. And time froze, Dr. Gautam. I felt 25 years younger. We went back with you to 97. Thank you very much for blessing us.
Thank
you, sir.
you,
Everybody.
Good.
Thank you all. Thank you for being with us. And I just hope that we can begin this celebration very soon, maybe the next year in person mode, because that brings us more together. And we cherish you all, your presence here, and all your guidance that we've had through the forum. Thank you, sirs.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'ams.
Thank you very much. With the permission of all the mentors, may we stop the virtual screening now?
Okay, good.
Thank you very much, sir. Namaskar. Dhanyavad.